Fear. It lives inside us all, a primal instinct, a warning. Imagine a cold hand on your neck in the dead of night. Your heart pounds, your breath catches. You are not alone. These are not stories for the faint of heart. These are real, these are raw. These are the nightmares that haunt us. Prepare yourself. You are about to enter a world of true horror.
I was home alone. A storm raged outside, mimicking the fear brewing within me. A sudden noise. I dismissed it. The wind, I thought. Then it came again, a scraping sound coming from the attic. I froze, listening intently. My pulse quickened. Mustering my courage, I slowly climbed the attic stairs, each step filled with dread. I flicked on the light, empty. As I turned to leave, something caught my eye. A dark figure, gone as quickly as it appeared, but the feeling of being watched lingered.
Deep in the Appalachian Mountains, a group of friends embarked on a camping trip. Laughter and stories filled the air, but as night fell, the mood shifted. An unsettling feeling descended upon them. The forest seemed to press in, filled with unseen eyes. They heard it then, a distant howl, bone-chilling, primal. The howl grew closer, joined by others. Panic set in. They huddled together, fear their only companion. Something was hunting them. As quickly as it began, the howling stopped. Silence. They didn't move, didn't speak. The sun, their savior, slowly rose, painting the sky with the promise of safety.
I found an antique Ouija board at a flea market. It was nestled among other relics of the past, almost as if it was waiting for me to discover it. The board was worn, its edges frayed, and the planchette had a mysterious aura about it. Intrigued, I took it home. I couldn't shake the feeling that this board had a story to tell, a story that was somehow connected to me. That night, curiosity got the better of me. The house was silent, the kind of silence that amplifies every creak and whisper. I felt a strange pull towards the board, as if it was calling out to me. I lit candles, creating an eerie glow in the room. The flickering flames cast long, dancing shadows on the walls, adding to the atmosphere of mystery and anticipation. Placing my fingers on the planchette, I asked, "Is anyone there?" The planchette moved. At first, it was a gentle nudge, almost imperceptible, but then it gained momentum, slowly at first, then with increasing speed. It was as if an unseen force was guiding it, eager to communicate. It spelled out a name I recognized. My grandmother's. She had passed away years ago, but her memory was still vivid in my mind. Tears welled up as I asked question after question. I wanted to know if she was at peace, if she had any messages for me. Each answer brought a mix of comfort and unease. The answers sent shivers down my spine. Some were comforting, but others hinted at secrets and warnings that I couldn't fully understand. The candle flickered, casting dancing shadows on the wall. It felt as if the room itself was alive, reacting to the presence of the spirit. As quickly as it started, the planchette stopped. The sudden stillness was almost deafening, leaving me with a sense of loss and longing. I sat there, shaken, my grandmother's final warning echoing in my mind. She had told me to be careful, to respect the boundaries between the living and the dead. Her words lingered, a haunting reminder of the night's events.
Section 5, trapped in terror.
Mark was working the late shift at the hospital. The night was unusually quiet, with an eerie stillness that seemed to seep into every corner of the building. The empty corridors were, well, unnerving. Each step he took echoed loudly, amplifying the silence that surrounded him. He made his rounds, checking on patients. Each room he entered was filled with the soft hum of medical equipment, a stark contrast to the oppressive silence outside. As he passed room 303, he felt a chill. It was as if the temperature had dropped several degrees in an instant. The air grew heavy, making it difficult to breathe. It felt like an invisible weight was pressing down on his chest. He paused, listening for any sound from within. Silence. The kind of silence that felt unnatural, almost suffocating. He continued his rounds, trying to shake off the uneasy feeling, but it followed him, a persistent shadow that refused to leave. He couldn't escape the sense of dread that clung to him like a shroud. Finally, his shift ended. He felt a strange mix of relief and lingering fear as he clocked out. As he drove home, he glanced in his rearview mirror. The road behind him was empty, but the feeling of being watched was overwhelming. A figure, pale and gaunt, stared back at him from the back seat. He was not alone. His heart raced as he realized the terror from the hospital had followed him home.
Section 6, marked by evil. A young priest, Father Michael, was called to a remote farmhouse. The call came late at night, a desperate plea from a family he had never met. The farmhouse was isolated, surrounded by dense woods that seemed to whisper secrets of their own. A family was plagued by terrifying events. They spoke of shadows moving on their own, whispers in the dark, and an overwhelming sense of dread that filled every corner of their home. He entered the home feeling a darkness he had never encountered. The air was thick with an oppressive energy, making it hard to breathe. Every step he took felt like a journey deeper into the unknown. The family huddled together, their faces etched with fear. They clung to each other, seeking comfort in their shared terror, their eyes wide with the horrors they had witnessed. He began to bless the house, his voice strong despite the tremor in his hand. Each word of the prayer echoed through the rooms, a beacon of hope against the encroaching darkness. The crucifix he held grew cold, burning his palm. It was as if the very essence of evil was trying to reject the holy symbol, fighting back with a chilling intensity. A guttural growl echoed through the house. It was a sound that seemed to come from the depths of hell itself, reverberating through the walls and shaking the very foundation of the home. Objects flew across the room, shattering against the walls. Books, picture frames, and furniture were hurled by an unseen force, creating a chaotic symphony of destruction. Father Michael continued, his faith his only shield. He recited prayers with unwavering determination, his voice rising above the cacophony of chaos around him. The demonic force raged against him, but he stood firm. Shadows twisted and writhed, trying to engulf him, but his faith created a barrier they could not cross. Finally, with a deafening shriek, it vanished. The sound was piercing, a final cry of defeat as the dark presence was banished from the home. The family was safe, but Father Michael would forever bear the scars of that night. The experience had left an indelible mark on his soul, a reminder of the battle between good and evil that rages unseen. Section 7, Facing the Unknown. These stories are a glimpse into the darkness that surrounds us. They remind us that we are not alone in the universe. Something watches from the shadows. We crave the adrenaline rush of fear, the thrill of the unknown, yet we are terrified of what lurks beyond our understanding. But amidst the terror, there is something else, a flicker of hope. The human spirit, when faced with the abyss, often finds a strength we never knew we possessed. Section 8, The Will to Survive.
Sarah never forgot the shadow in her attic. It changed her, made her more aware of the unseen, but it didn't break her.
The campers who heard the hounds of hell returned from the mountains, forever marked by the experience. But they returned together, their bond unbreakable.
Emily kept the Ouija board, a reminder of her grandmother's love and a warning from beyond the veil.
Mark quit his job at the hospital, choosing to face his fears in the daylight. Father Michael continued his work, his faith shaken but not broken. Section 9, Scars that Remain. These survivors bear the scars of their encounters, both visible and invisible. They serve as a reminder that evil exists, but so does courage. They remind us that fear, while a powerful force, can be overcome. The human spirit is capable of enduring unimaginable terror and emerging stronger on the other side. These stories are not meant to scare you, but to awaken you, to remind you that the world is a place of both wonder and terror. Listen to your instincts, trust your gut, and never underestimate the power of the human spirit to survive even the most harrowing of encounters. Section 10, Our Primal Fear. We are drawn to these stories of horror, to the adrenaline rush of fear, because deep down we recognize a truth. We are vulnerable. The darkness exists, but within each of us lies a spark of light, a spark that can never be extinguished. So the next time you're alone in the dark and you feel a shiver run down your spine, remember these stories. Remember the survivors. And remember, fear may be inevitable, but succumbing to it is a choice.